actually killing it. They were just there first. They
Mm.
have some 220 something million subscribers. Disney lost a whole bunch of subscribers
Ooh.
because they lost cricket in India, and
What?
that was
How do you lose that? How do
Why
you
yeah.
just
would you
give up
lose
cricket?
that?
That's easy money.
I know. So they I
Isn't there a championship going on right now? And it got rained
Tony,
out in London, I think.
you are preaching to a choir of the converted. Honestly, if I was Disney, I would have paid whatever money. If you're gonna pay X billions of dollars for Fox, sir, put down a couple million for the one thing that Indians are obsessed with. Like they lost so many subscribers because they lost to cricket. It's like, are you stupid? Like, why would you risk that? Like, it's just a big, huge mistake.
That's just bank.
Anyways, so
That's just bank.
bank it
That's just
the subscription numbers would have only continued to grow anytime the games can people want to watch the game, people want to have easy access. Piracy is kind of getting annoying in some cases. You're just like, no, how much do I have to pay? Yeah, here, just take the money, let me watch my games. I mean,
Mhm.
oh, I can watch previous games, I can go back and watch games. Like,
Yeah.
this is fantastic. Instead, they lost the rights to it. A whole bunch of people unsubscribed. The stock got affected by it. A huge weird mistake. So
But at the
But they
same
only
time,
have to pay.
that's really dumb because you're missing new content.
yes,
Because
yeah,
people would only join Disney. Like at first, a lot of people were only joining Disney for like, I will join in like X whatever my childhood thing is that I want to like watch, like whether it was like the Disney movies or let's say I don't know DuckTales or something, I don't know whatever
sure, yeah,
whatever X
nostalgia,
reason why you would,
right,
But
right.
once you burn through all that, if you don't have new
You,
content,
yeah,
that's what suffers, right?
yeah.
And we argue about Netflix being the next Fox being cutting a season every season,
Right.
but they still have rampant new content.
They do. And it's annoying. All these podcasts that I listen to, The Town, The Business, all these behind the scene podcasts that I love to listen to, they all say the same thing, that Netflix's model, where they're kind of just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks, still has something that sticks every single time. They
Mhm.
make like 5 shows, 6 shows. And if one, like this, the new one that's really popular, The Night Agent, I didn't even hear about it. I haven't seen
Oh,
it.
I've seen ads for that on Netflix when I turn
Right.
it on. Yeah, yeah.
And supposedly that show did gangbusters for them in numbers. It's one of their it's the third highest streamed ever for them, which is crazy because I've watched a trailer for that. I saw the trailer months ago and was kind of just like, this is like every other Netflix, kind of action
Spy.
show. Yeah, spy thing, The Recruit, Jack Ryan, all those similar style shows. And then I watched The Night Agent and I'm like, this is the exact same thing. But supposedly the selling factor is the lead actor is really good, and people are
Mm.
just like, he's really really good in the role, and that's what's pulling people in. And I'm like, and that's it. Netflix, all those other shows that they've launched at around the same time, they just needed one, and supposedly the subscription numbers are there for this one because people are word of mouth is spreading and people are kind of paying attention to it. So
Hmm.
you know and I mean, we didn't put it on the list, but they're going back to the well too, because Bird Box Barcelona just dropped
Oh,
a
yeah, that
trailer.
just came out. I just
Yeah,
saw the trailer for it a bit, and I was like,
yeah,
"What?"
Bird Box. Oh, they
Barcelona. So they're going back to the Bird Box universe, and they're setting one in Barcelona when the that kind of like evil thing hits.
thing
And
happened.
yeah, and this one, it honestly, the trailer looks really interesting because it looks like people are even more prepared than the North American one. Like, there's like people have dogs that are blindfolded but on leashes because I guess dogs can still navigate based on scent and stuff.
Yeah.
So they have dogs warning them things coming because they can smell it. You have people using walking sticks as if they're blind now. Like, I don't know if this show takes place later or if it takes place at the same time, but when I'm watching that trailer, I got a sense that these people are managing themselves better, which,
Mm.
to be honest, to me would speak to it. It's happening at the same time, and North Americans are the only ones who just panic and go crazy. Everyone else kind of goes, okay, we need to figure this out, and then adapt very quickly. But that's just me.
We've
But yeah,
suffered through a world war. How do we
yeah,
figure this out?
yeah,
All right.
yeah, exactly. What is it? What's the Britain thing? Keep calm,
Keep calm and
carry
carry
on.
on.
Yeah,
I mean, like that kind of causes, uh, other
Men-
trauma later on where
yeah,
you
yeah. I
just
was
don't
gonna
Yeah.
say
really.
mental
I
health
mean,
issues. Yeah,
alcoholism is just a regular day of life,
that's so sad.
I remember what's his name? Ed Sheeran had said that when he was on the Breakfast Club,
Oh
and
yeah,
they're like, "Oh, I want to drink one of these." And it's like, dude, it's so early. I was like, "Hey, I've came across the pond to
yeah,
do this show, and for me to do this show, I have to do 15 other ones.
Yeah.
Please take a drink with your friend from London. Okay, fine, sir. And all of them drink and they're like, ugh.
Yeah,
And he's
first
just like,
thing in the morning.
hmm.
Good God, Ed Sheeran.
He just unfazed by the drink. Like, and you're just like,
Yeah,
wait a
yeah,
minute.
yeah. Sir, how early is it? Yeah, but I mean, all the streamers are kind of going through their thing, and Netflix is, unfortunately, I hate to admit it, still kind of on top of the game. But HBO, who is now officially Max, they dropped the HBO part from their streaming app. It's now just Max. Even if you go online on their socials, it's now stream on Max as opposed to HBO Max, which to me was just a bad idea. You had a great one, HBO Max, perfect.
Yeah.
Stream on Max looks horrible.
I mean, saying HBO Max to me seems like you get more of HBO,
dude.
Yeah,
the maximum amount of HBO.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was in the name to me. I am
Yeah.
100% behind you.
There, you didn't need a tagline or a sell because the name itself was that.
Facts.
Yeah.
Facts. Everything you guys are saying is the most logical way to look at that. Like what everyone else is saying plus, and then these guys are just like, no, max. And it's like, ooh, the maximum potential over here. Anyways, those guys are continuing to put out new stuff. But speaking of Warner Brothers, Justice League, War World. I always feel like I tongue tie that one. That trailer just dropped. It looks, the Batman part of it looks like the story when Batman got hit by Darkseid's Omega Beam, right?
But it looks like that's happening to all of them.
Okay, so that is what's happening, right? It is.
Yeah, well, I think if I had to guess,
okay,
by the trailer, because the trailer doesn't give, actually for once the trailer is like the story's not said.
So rare.
If I had to guess, I bet somehow they are captured by what's the guy who owns World War Mongol? Yeah, so they probably abducted them in some shape or form, or some, they got trapped by him somehow, whether it's someone who dropped them there, whether they took a wrong turn at Albuquerque or whatever, you know what I mean? Like X reason,
Hoboken.
X reason, they're on this world, and I'm pretty sure that he just like mind wipes them for like a moment, and he's just putting them in like, because like the fact that they show that's world, it's like, it kind of works like Westworld, right? Like in War World, there's environments that you go in, so there's probably just dropping them in and brainwashing them or something.
Yeah, we get Jonah Hex, who's going to be Wonder Woman,
which we don't know. That's the other thing, is like, if it's the fact it's on War World, you don't know if it's everything that they're seeing could potentially also not be real,
right?
At all. Like it could just be a simulation or whatever, which would still make it a cool cameo for him, but then he's probably just not going to leave with them or whatever. But the only thing though is, I really don't like the merger of like the old animation and like the Archer look. I really I really don't like it.
Was it you or Skinny that said it last time, that this new animation style is kind of odd, and
I've been preaching it since they've done it with the only one that it didn't really phase me much was what's that Long Halloween story that they did.
True,
that one, it wasn't so bad.
Yeah.
But like the and I didn't watch it all, but the one which was not the Justice League, Justice League of America or whatever, when Flash goes back in time.
Oh, Justice Society one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah. That one, just by the trailers and from the few scenes I saw, I'm like, oh man, it's a little thick. It's odd.
Yeah, but you're not wrong. I guess Archer would be the best example of a similar style. It's Archer-esque but lighter, like a little softer than Archer. And I can see what you're saying.
But I find that those contrasts, because I do feel it's like they're trying to take the old style that they had developed, which was like a really nice style.
Right.
And they tried to merge it into like that look and do a little half and half. But I don't find it's like you either have to go full-fledged Archer because there's a style in that. There's thickness and like in the borders and stuff that only go a certain way. And then you're projecting a certain type of like example. It's like that. What's that? The Batman? It wasn't what was the one with Batman Brave and the Bold, I think?
Yeah.
You know, the one that was really gimmicky that looked
like a throwback to the 66 Batman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's what it looks like. So it's more comical just by presentation.
Mm-hmm. Oh, interesting. Okay, I see what you're saying.
And for me,
the aesthetic makes you feel like it's more of a parody than it is.
That or cartoony. It's like it's more cartoony. Whereas I feel like the one thing that was really good about, like I'm talking about ever since even Mask of the Phantasm, like these are movies that the animation's well suited for what's going on because it wasn't that it was dark, it was DC dark. Like,
Right.
they had a certain way of drawing it, and there was a good consistency in it. And now it's just like, I don't know.
Hey, at least it's not that animated Justice League series, that last animated Justice League that was really cartoony. That was like
right.
Brave and the Bold times 2. Like
Yeah, that was
all the characters' chests and bodies were
Yeah, they're
like
all
really weird.
disproportionate.
Yeah, really awkward. So I mean, gift and a curse, but I guess I do see what you're saying. Where if especially because the Archer style speaks to parody because itself is a comedic series. If you're seeing something similar, you're kind of like, oh, I get the joke, but then you get these way darker stories because Warworld is a much more serious and darker aspect of DC, where like, the Batman stories, he's in what, caveman era, and he's potentially, if they're sticking to it, he like travels through time, is getting shot through time. I don't think they're going to do that part of it, but if not, he's just going to be stuck in the past in like this kind of medieval time version, which is really interesting. And then Wonder Woman was in the Wild West, and Clark is during what appears to be a white Martian alien invasion on Earth.
It's like seems to be like the original War of the Worlds type
era,
right.
Yeah. Orwellian type thing.
Yeah, especially like when they show Superman and he's like in a black and white kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And he's fighting like the invaders. So like
him using a gun is funny.
I'm wondering if he doesn't know he's Superman, so he doesn't even know he has powers.
I would assume
I think so.
Yeah,
the only way that you could contain someone like that is by making them not realize that they have that ability, right?
Yeah.
That, or for all you know, maybe there's some form of kryptonite around him, or something to depower him.
I mean, there's probably both. Yeah, I mean, if I was going to try and take down Superman, funny enough, if we transition to this conversation, I would 100% try and brainwash Superman and keep him encased in like something kryptonite related, because that's the only way you're keeping him down for a long-term imprisonment. Otherwise, if he has an inkling of who he is, he will fight against the kryptonite poisoning. And if he doesn't have an inkling of who he is, but you don't have the kryptonite, there's a good chance he will just muscle his way out of something, or potentially just do something dangerous, and just
that or something will just happen to him and he'll realize, I'm not hurt.
Exactly.
Why is this?
Yes.
A car falls on him. He's like,
and he's perfectly fine. Or,
you
or more realistically, to your point, someone shoots at him and nothing happens, and he's just like, why am I invulnerable? Yeah. So. Yeah, so that trailer looks interesting. People can definitely check it out. We'll start putting the trailer links in the description of the episode, so you guys can check them out. We'll do it at the end of the episodes. We also got the trailer for Good Omens season 2. Crowley and oh man, I'm gonna draw a blank now.
Yeah,
I hate when I draw a blank on these guys, but well, I'll say this: Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett worked on the original one. The first season was on Prime. This one also on Prime. Really entertaining story. I'm John Hamm has now joined the cast. So, and the
story, looking for the name of the actors?
No, the character Crowley and
Azzy Ralphie.
Yeah, he's like a demon. Aziraphale.
Yeah, that's, you're probably saying it way better.
Yeah,
than
I think that is how they pronounce it, Aziraphale or something like that. But yeah, so Crowley, Aziraphale, and then John Hamm is playing, I think, Michael, right? Archangel is what they said.
No, Gabriel.
Everyone else has a super
Gabriel.
complicated
Gabriel,
name.
Sorry,
Michael.
Yeah, no, Gabriel. My apologies. Yeah, so John Hamm's playing Gabriel. The trailer was really funny. Already, just the small bits you get to see. I'm looking forward to it because that was the first season was a really fun thing, and I know a lot of people are. I know they are two of them. They are one of the most shipped relationships in like fanfic sites and stuff. My partner, who is a regular reader of stuff on Tumblr, is always telling me about how popular those two are. So you kind of get there's like little hints and jokes pushed into this trailer that I got where I was like, okay. Like they're hinting at their orientation towards or their attraction towards each other.
There's a part where even I'm messing up the name. Gabriel says, "Oh, you ever notice like there's someone there you're just drawn to?" And he's like, "Nah, nah." And Crowley's like,
"What are you talking?" Yeah,
just doing the typical Hugh Jackman, like leading man in the 90s, like
yeah,
stuttering, nervous kind of thing. I don't know what you're talking about.
We also have the Expendables 4. Oh God.
Yay. Why not?
Hey man, the first three, but I don't know.
I'm just saying, we made it to Fast and the Furious 10.
Yes.
Why not Expendables 4? That's what I say.
Because people aren't even coming back for this one because they know the movie's expendable at this point.
Well, no, there's some people coming back. I think what's his name?
Don't say Dolph Lundgren. He goes wherever the money goes.
No, not Dolph Lundgren. Not
Statham's back.
Statham's back.
What's his name?
Stallone's
He played
back.
Zorro in the 90s.
Antonio Banderas?
Oh, he's back?
think it looks like he's in there for like a split second.
Oh, okay. I mean,
right.
I don't doubt for a second we're gonna get tons of cameos.
Yeah.
Because even in the last one, didn't the last one have cameos that they weren't announced that these people were in the movie, but then you got like
wasn't Wesley Snipes one of them?
Right. Like there's cameos in them. So
why were you in jail? Tax evasion.
I won't lie. I'm annoyed.
Antonio Banderas was in that one too.
Yeah.
And they said he was really like he wanted to be a part of the team. And like, no, like it's a cool man.
Yeah,
He's like, no, come on, let me be part of the team.
That was funny. Sorry, Dave, you were about to say?
No, I was gonna say I'm not a fan that Megan. I don't know why Megan Fox was the one chosen.
Dude, I was gonna say when I saw Megan
with respect.
Fox, no, but no, I don't think we're being disrespectful. When I look at all these other action heroes, and granted, I get it, they're not doing their own stunts anyway, so it's not like Megan Fox is the only one not doing her stunts. But when I think of action films, if you're gonna tell me like Jason Statham, Dolph Lundgren, Jet
50
Li,
Cent.
50 Cent, yeah, even 50 Cent, he's done some more.
I threw that in as a curveball.
No, but 50 Cent was in the movie with Stallone where they're breaking out of that prison.
Oh, it's true.
He did
He
escape
was in that
prison. Escape or
wasn't
prison plan? No,
wasn't
I think
it
Escape or Escape 2, but he's in one of them and he does have his own action scenes.
Oh, so okay.
I'm not opposed to seeing him in an action film, whereas Megan Fox, I guess, I mean, true, she has been in action films like Transformers.
What, Ninja Turtles?
Yeah,
Transformers.
Yeah, as always as the damsel, not as like
sure, but
I think in the first or second Transformers movie,
we're not talking about Black Widow or freaking Gamora here.
But I will say
she was in Jonah Hex too.
She was in Jonah Hex. I will say this. I get what you're saying, Dave, that it would have made more sense to see like a Scarlett Johansson or if anything, I think one of the most underrated action, Charlize Theron.
Agreed.
If you had Charlize in this, Thurman's equal.
No, but think about this type of
age range.
Yeah, like the type of age range and where you're going. Yeah. I find Uma Thurman and Charlize Theron to be like top names for that.
Jaws hit us.
I would just say with those names you mentioned, for those women to be in this movie, I feel like it's a kind of a step down because Uma Thurman already headlined her own action movie. Charlize Theron already headlined her own action movie, Atomic Blonde, and there's supposed to be a sequel coming out.
Yeah, but I mean,
everyone in this movie.
Me, I don't. Yeah. I'm just saying I don't mind that, and I don't think it's a bad thing that she's in the movie. It's just like, why not? Like,
no. I'm just saying if you're gonna have, I think what Dave and I are saying is if you're gonna have Jason Statham, who has headlined his own action movies and is seen as an action star, if you're gonna have Sylvester Stallone, who's seen as an action star, if you're gonna have Dolph, who's seen as a relative action star, and then you're gonna have Megan Fox, not seen as an action star, but often seen as a damsel in distress. I would understand a Charlize. I would maybe understand an Uma, not necessarily who I would say, but like I get what you're saying, but like Angelina Jolie, like
or any of the girls from Sin City there, like the group there, like Rosario Dawson or what's the girl with the samurai swords? I forget her name.
She was in Serenity as well.
Oh, Kate Beckinsale is a perfect example. of
Yeah.
who you would put in this movie,
Yeah.
especially if you wanted to have. Oh my God, you guys!
I wonder if this role is
Kate
even that
Beckinsale's
big.
fantastic.
I mean,
No,
she's fighting.
That's what like the
Jason
point I'm trying to
Statham.
get at is just we see that scene of her and Jason Statham. So apparently they're a couple or they're
Right.
married or whatever, and it's like a Mr. and Mrs. Smith kind of
Sure.
fight scene.
Yeah.
And then Sylvester Stallone shows up like, hey, I got a mission, and
Right.
they leave. So it's either her character is like going to be the main baddie at the end, or that's just a cameo and it's super small and it's just like, hey, let this person get something new on their resume. And like I've always kind of feel like those expendable movies are just kind of, hey, let's kind of hook up people to like kind of add on to their resume to do other stuff further down the line.
I mean, sure, based on what we're seeing in the trailer, and of course we can't really go off of the trailers too much because those are 3 minutes of a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
But we do see her like with him doing the fight. We see her again in like tactical gear running into a place with the other blonde Asian girl with the chains. So like
she has a real job. Remember, she was getting a mission that she couldn't tell him about.
Right.
Yeah.
So
she's not a mercenary.
Yeah, that's what I meant by
the biggest thing.
That's what I was.
She actually works for a government, and he does not. He's in the gig economy, and she's got a pension with the government.
But when
she got a good pension,
they showed the debriefing. She's in the debriefing.
Oh, okay.
That's more,
or she could be, oh well, this is Mr. Nobody. All you guys are Don's family, and this is actual. I have someone to answer to.
And I totally get what you're saying. I'm just saying, of all the of the caliber of all the other action stars, I'm shocked like that Charlize is not someone you would invite. Or like you guys said, Kate Beckinsale is definitely, having done the Underworld movies and stuff like that, is the like top of the list for me. Yeah. If you're gonna have someone come in, or hey, crazy one,
second
Jessica Biel, because she did
both the last two that you named are pretty good.
Beckinsale 49.
Are you trying to see how old she is?
Charlize Theron is already in Fast X.
Yes,
47.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing I was gonna say. All the actual real good female leads for action, they are busy now. Like example, most of the people that we named,
I think
have something
Jolie
going on.
Retired. No, she retired from acting.
Who
is Jolie retired?
I think she retired from acting because I mean, she like it says here the last movie she did was Maleficent.
Yeah,
that's the last one she's credited for. Let me just double check here.
Which one?
IMDb.
I think she was in the second one.
Oh, sorry, the last one she did. Excuse me, no, she isn't. Those Who Wish Me Dead was 2001, and Eternals was 2001.
Oh yeah, she did
upcoming
2021. You mean
2021. Excuse me.
Yeah, that's true. I forgot she's in Eternals.
No.
But yeah.
Two additions that they. Oh, sorry, go on.
No, I was just gonna say her next stuff is Kung Fu Panda 4, Maleficent, Mother of All Fairies, and 2 other movies. These are in pre-production or in production.
All right.
But I was just gonna add two actors that they added to the list that is actually, I think, really good selections. Tony Jaa and I'm gonna brutalize his name. Iko Uwais, I think that's how you say it. The guy from The Raid.
Yeah.
Like those two, I'm like, I hope they fight each other. I'm just like, fight each other. I don't care.
A killer.
Fight each other. That's all I want to see.
My comment about the other women is not that they're too old. Like when I was just checking their age, they're not too old, but they probably offered like, "Hey guys, you want to?" And they're like, "Nah, I'm good. Yeah, Kate Beckinsale's like, I had my fill. Like the last one I did was Underworld, and what was the other one she did?
She did
Total Recall, the remake of Total Recall.
I don't know, but I'm telling you guys right now, I saw Fool's Paradise that she just did, and she needs another movie because that was a stinker. It was, dude. I was so excited to see that movie because I really like Charlie Day, and Ken Jeong. Like the cast is crazy, and then I watched the movie, and dude, there's a moment where the movie just like it's going along. Boom. They just stop and like hard pivot and just skip a whole bunch of stuff. Next thing you know, the character's married. He has kids. And you're like, whoa, what just happened? I actually rewound it to see, like, did I accidentally skip ahead in the movie? And that's like, no, you didn't skip anything. It literally goes from this scene to that scene, and that's just how the movie is. And then Kate Beckinsale's in it for most of the beginning, disappears for a huge section, and then just comes in the end to break up with the lead character. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, what is this shit? Like, why, Charlie? No, what are you doing, buddy? So that's why I'm saying, like, hopefully Beckinsale has something on the horizon, because the same way The Rock came back to the Fast and Furious franchise because Black Adam was also a stinker. I mean,
believe in doors. If he believed in doors, that alone would have saved that movie.
I love that, the doors.
So don't kill them. Oh, okay, I will kill them and you save them. Okay, good.
Yeah.
It's like
silly ass film.
Just let him be a bad guy. Just
yeah, dude,
bad guy.
Dude, preach again. When you say to someone you're on the same page, we're not even on just the same page. We're on the same line in the same paragraph. Like, dude, just let Black Adam be a bad guy.
Just be the heel.
But The Rock can't have that. He did that enough while he was wrestling.
This is not just wrestling. This is international film franchises. You might have to be a bad guy.
Just be a bad guy that doesn't die. That's it.
Yeah, dude, like Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise can be a bad guy. He just doesn't die in the movies.
When the hell has Tom Cruise ever
Collateral?
been
kind of try? Oh no, he totally
died in that.
He dies in Collateral.
Yeah.
Oh,
he kills him on the bus and he on the train.
No, the
train.
Yeah, there's a line in the middle of the movie where they said some guy got killed and they didn't find him until they were done. Like, he was riding the train for a good long while, and then it happens to him.
Huh? Apologies. I'll be honest.
The only other movie he's a bad guy is Tropic Thunder. I don't think that really counts.
Oh, that's not even a bad guy.
He's a douchebag.
He's kind of a bad guy. He's a lovable bad guy.
He's an asshole.
In the end, he becomes a lovable bad guy. Like, oh, okay, you kind of understand where he's coming from.
Seriously. But yeah, okay. So, wild. People go. We're so many things coming out. Oh, last one. They cloned Tyrone. We got Fox. See, when I saw Fox on the Expendables, I was just like, they misspelled Jamie Foxx, because I thought it was Jamie Foxx. But yeah, so you have Jamie Foxx, you have Taisha Paris, right? That's her name.
I think so, yeah.
And then oh my god, why am I
John Boyega?
Sorry, I was like,
Moses.
Yeah. So that's gonna be an interesting one. Oh, well, I'll talk about that after.
That movie is a little bit confusing because they all look like they're from the 70s,
right?
But he's singing Mary J. Blige. It came out. Well, was that song a cover?
I don't think I'm going down a cover. Past. I don't think the movie's set in the past. I think
but the way they're dressed, or at least the way the girl is dressed and Jamie Foxx is dressed.
Yeah.
And then some of how people are like it's confusing.
I like it though. I love that. That trailer looks fun. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, once again, go check out these trailers. Some of these trailers have really interesting things. And this is one of those trailers where I didn't feel like they gave away too much. Because we've been talking about that lately, how some trailers give away way too much information, and that, like, for example, that original Ahsoka one looks cool, and a few people are coming back. But Secret Invasion, that trailer I felt gave away too much. I actually didn't want to see as much as I saw with that Secret Invasion trailer. Secret Invasion one. But
just a quick thing. I'm Going Down was originally sang by Rose Royce, and it came out in 1976.
Oh, so you're positing that the film is set in the 70s?
Yes.
Interesting.
Or at least like late 70s, 80s or something like that, because it feels like the way everyone's dressed is throwing me off.
Like,
the fact that he's singing that song, I was like, oh, maybe it's in the 90s, but then it was like, oh no, wait a minute,
it's a cover.
Yeah.
All right. I mean,
doing the original. Yeah.
Cool. Netflix, if you can do period pieces with dope black actors, I'm here for it. Speaking of Miss Paris, not officially, it got leaked from Action Figures, but she's gonna be playing in Miss Marvel, Monica Rambeau, and she's gonna be going by her call sign Photon. So
nice.
I know some people were excited about that. I think we expected it. What was her mom's call sign in the movie?
Oh,
in Marvel?
I forget.
It must have been Photon.
I feel like it. I feel like there was already enough of a hint somewhere. I just don't remember.
Out of all the names like Spectrum, Photon, all the
Mm.
different names that Monica Rambeau has used, I kind of felt like Photon. Out of she wasn't going to be Miss Marvel because they're she is the original, by the way, for those of you who don't know. The original Miss Marvel was a black woman, Monica Rambeau, and then it's Carol Danvers, and then and sadly Kamala Khan, who they just killed off in Spider-Man number 26.
I did not know that.
Yeah, they killed the character off.
Why?
I don't know. Some people are thinking that they killed her off because they don't want her to be an Inhuman, so they're trying to figure out a way to bring her back or make her a mutant.
Bring the body to Krakoa and bam.
Right, they're gonna do something to make her a mutant and not.
Which I really hope they fix this Krakoa thing. It's just stupid.
I haven't seen that stuff, but I've heard it's like the story's kind of crazy with what's going on. So I'm quite a bit behind. I know Skinny was telling us.
I've only been really reading it through X-Force.
Okay.
And like, it's just like it's like anything you're reading, anytime you have like a twist, you're like, yeah, but you could fix this if you could revive someone, and you can, and then like that's what like, you know what I mean? Like,
you don't like that they can revive everyone?
Well, it's because it makes the storytelling predictable in my eyes. Like it makes the read boring. There is no consequence.
Yeah, but dude, they need that for the mutants for a bit though, because the mutants had too many consequences at one point. They went from their whole population being down to like 1,000 or something. It's like, you got to give these guys a chance.
Oh yeah, don't get me wrong. Like I think the concept because that was because of House of M, no?
Right, yeah.
Like the fact that you didn't have a backup plan to reverse that instantly at any point in time is a pretty stupid idea.
Yeah,
I say, and the thing that sucks is I feel like the only reason why they even did all of this is because we don't have X-Men movies that are like, Marvel doesn't own it or whatever, and now it's like, well, now that Disney owns it and you guys are like all in some shape or form related and you're making your bank now.
Yeah.
Now all those decisions look real stupid, don't they?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if anything, I would say even more. It wasn't just because the No More Mutants wasn't a Fox Disney type thing. That actually happened before. What you're talking about is when the Terrigen Mist cloud was going around, and if mutants got hit by it, they were dying.
But that's what I'm saying is like you further doubled down on it. You know what I mean? You already did House of M, which was already not the best idea.
I mean,
then you're doing
good
this
storytelling though. You're
saying it was good. No, I'm saying the storytelling was good, but you should have had example. How many times has someone died and they eventually bring them back because of a good thought of like, okay, well, like if Thor dies, if this and this and this and this happens, Thor can come back or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's good storytelling because you're saying like, I am going to do something and I have my backup plan to reverse it if I want.
Yeah, you're working towards his resurrection.
Yeah. Whereas like House of M, amazing story. Okay, cool. Then Terrigen Mist, you're making it even worse.
Yeah.
But their solution is Krakoa, which is not even creating. It's not making new mutants. It's just keeping the current ones alive.
Yeah, that's fair. Jaws was able to find the picture, and yes, we can confirm Maria Photon Rambeau was her name, was the mother's call sign. So, I mean, yeah, we kind of all assumed she was going to be called Photon. Mm-hmm. It was going to be pretty easy and obvious. Almost a little boring, if I'm being honest, because I'm just being picky, I guess, but I want more. I want more, folks. So, yeah. I mean, you're right, Dave. I hope we get to see some other, because I understand what you're saying, and that is fair. It's like a soap opera. There's no danger when you're watching a soap opera because we all know Sonny was going to come back if you killed Sonny. Like,
Well, exactly it, right? It's like, because like you saw don't get me wrong. Like one interesting aspect about the storytelling is like they do deep dive sometimes into like the mental issues that you have from like seeing your friend. Like it's like everyone kind of understands
Logan. Has trauma.
Well, that's it. People understand Logan a lot better. Like you could get that sense. You could get that sense, right? Like people are like, huh. So
Yeah, this is what
This
it's like
is how
to
it must
die.
feel.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you know, and you're
That's
watching a
really
bunch of your people,
interesting.
like, you know, because if you think about it, people are seeing, you could see your loved one die, and sure, you know she's gonna come back, but
But you still saw the death.
you still went
And
through that process.
but the funny part is the people who died don't remember their deaths because the backup copy was done like a couple days ago.
Yeah, but that's
That's
also
the one part that I find funny about the story too.
but it's also weird, I find, because you're like, it's like, are you Groot or are you Groot's son? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, are you the original or are you a copy? Same thing with like Star Trek. When people get teleported, sometimes they're just like, oh, technically you're not the real thing. You are you are
Deconstructed and rebuilt
Yeah,
technically.
not even
So-
rebuilt, though. You're killed and a copy of you is created.
So basically, the Prestige.
Yes. Yes. Yes, that's what's happening.
So
some
somewhere
people are
on the
gonna-
Starship Enterprise, there's a dunking pool, a dunking water, and the person just gets trapped. They can't get out and they drown.
That
Their
was
copies
so
are-
messed up that the guy was willing to do that, knowing every time he was gonna do it. It's so fucked up. Anyways, the Prestige is a whole other conversation. We should just do old movies.
I
sometime.
actually never saw The Prestige.
It's so
okay.
good.
Well, yeah. Sorry.
No, don't. I'm not
Spoilers.
saying that.
So good.
I'm just saying that one of the things I always wanted to do is I wanted to watch that and The Illusionist around the same time,
Yeah.
but I just never got a chance to watch either one of them, so I was therefore not enthralled to watch the other, you know.
Well, The Prestige is great. I love that film.
It's so good.
Before we jump into the major thing that Dave and I want to talk about, Jaws, what have you been checking out recently?
Nothing. Not a damn thing.
No games. No.
Nothing to really report about.
right.
Yeah.
Not a goddamn thing.
Nothing. To be very honest, nothing really.
That's fair. In which case, folks, we are going to warn you now. We're going to do our best. Dave and I actually messaged each other before this and came up with some guidelines of how not to spoil the film. Not even not spoil too much. We're going to do our best to not spoil the film at all and still talk about all the things that we enjoyed about the film. So we're going to be talking about Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. This is the second in a trilogy. Dave, my first question to you, you knew that this was a cliffhanger ending, right?
Well, the thing I'll say is, who thought that Darth Vader was Luke's father? Like, let's start going now. I was going to a crappy joke about saying like spoiler free. Go straight into that. Although that is kind of a spoiler, I do think that was a bit of a known thing because
I feel like they told people.
Well, yeah, because this one, especially when you have the next movie's title is Beyond, so you're like, you know, like, whereas the first one you knew there was gonna be alone because there was no one knew the success of this.
Right.
This one, it's like, okay, you're clearly doing this, and even when you're going through the story, even when you think about the commercial in comparison to the movie, you're like, there is too much here. There's too much to do in this to be able to do it in one movie.
Right.
I won't lie. By the time it got to that point, in my mind, I was like, it better end soon because it wasn't that it was too long,
right,
or anything like that. But I was getting to the point. I'm like, you better dismount soon because because one thing that is good about the movie, but is like, it's a lot to process. I think it was a lot to process, especially because I went to go see it IMAX, and you're trying to absorb everything.
Right.
It's really information overload, like
Yes,
by a
it is information heavy.
ridiculous, like, without spoiling the cameos, I can't say there's so many cameos that like you and I could have although we would have seen the same story,
Right.
we could have seen a different movie.
Yeah.
Because there's so much happening on the screen that you're focusing on stuff because you're naturally like, my friend said it best when we were leaving the movie. He's like, so this is gonna take you like 4 hours because you're gonna stop every 2 seconds to look at what's happening.
Oh, right, yeah.
Like it's pause-mania. Like,
Yeah.
if you have this at home, you're gonna be pausing every 2 seconds. Like,
Well, Screen Crush made multiple videos so far about all the different cameos. Like, I think they counted 300 different spider characters and like list them all in a like 25-minute video. So yeah, I mean, if you're going in and you're a Spider-Man fan and you want to see all the spider people, this is going to be a painfully crazy film for you to watch because it's going to be like, okay, well, okay, so that character, okay, I know I recognize this one from this one. Okay, this one's in the video game, that one's in this movie, and like you're gonna just kind of blow your mind trying to catch all the different Spider people.
And it's kind of cool because Spider-Man is known to be like one of those characters that just has like the multiple suits just result in okay, let's just make multiple timelines where it's just this is the suit, and like I bet there's a bunch of Spider-Men in this movie that their story is the exact same. It's just like that slight tweak,
right.
That's changing it or
but
whatever.
Still, sticking to my original question, how did your audience react? Because I'll tell you how mine reacted afterwards.
Well, I mean, I didn't have any. I went not on opening night. I went a few afterwards, but I would say, I wouldn't say there was people clapping. I definitely think there was people who were like saying it was really good on the way out, but there wasn't like an outpour of love type.
But thing. No, I mean the reaction to the to be continued.
I didn't. There wasn't a reaction. I do feel because the things wow. I went at 9:20 at night, and I will say this, like my crowd seemed to be potentially an educated crowd.
Okay,
like I was walking around like, you are me at your ages.
Yeah.
You all know.
Yeah,
like,
you know yourself.
Like I was seeing like some 50-year-old random guy or random girls who are like cheerleaders or something like.
I went on a Sunday at 6. My audience was a great audience because tons of great energy for a lot of cool things that happened. But boy, the screams when it said to be continued, like the girls next to me legit said, "What?" Like just full on.
Wow.
Like people were like in shock. And I turned to Michelle, my partner, and I was just like, do people not know this is a 2-parter? And she was just like, I guess not. And
people don't live online, man.
I guess, yeah. I mean, which was such a good thing to me because I realized, oh, you guys are just watching this movie. It's you probably haven't even paid attention to most of the news surrounding it. You just came to see a good film on a Sunday evening, and this is the movie you came to see. For those of you who don't know, and I'll have to double check on Box Office Mojo, but from what I understand, the film exceeded opening weekend expectations almost by double. I think it made like 150 to 200 on opening. I'll double check, but it was expected to maybe make 80 to 100. And I'm pretty sure it made well above that for an animated feature.
So that's big.
That is huge.
That's huge.
So
you're not having someone's face come in or someone being shirtless or whatever to get people in seats, right? You're just watching a story.
Yeah.
A story that was really good. And I'll even say this, like the intro, which is arguably, and I don't think this is that much of a spoiler, but the intro is almost like a short film.
Yes.
And I was like, wow. And then like when you actually get into the film, which, okay, they do like another little mini intro for where you're at when you get kind of repositioned after that mini movie. I was like, wow.
You're talking about the fact that like the cold opening, which to me, I didn't even realize.
I wasn't expecting that.
Me neither. I didn't realize this was a cold opening. I thought we were just starting the film. And then for them to get that far into the run and then start with the credits, like almost again.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh shit, was that all just cold opening?
Well, it reminded me almost of like, like the Batman animated series. They always said that like that 20-minute episodes would always feel like little movies because they did a lot of detail and they really made like the chunks of a movie. Like you definitively had an intro, you definitively had a middle, you definitively had.
Yeah,
you're not going around a lot. Yeah, and I felt like the same way about this because like when it went on, I looked at it, I'm like, wow, that was like 20-25 minutes.
Yeah,
like that was like because at first I was like, I don't want to say it because I don't want to spoil what the thing is, but because of what they're focusing on, I'm like, in the right movie? Like it was.
I understood early on that they were just trying to recreate some of the things they did in the first film with different characters.
Mm-hmm.
And so that I understood, and I thought that was really cool. And I do agree with you. Yes, there's so much focus early on other characters other than Miles that at first I was kind of like, oh, I guess this is a sequel. And as much as Miles Morales was the lead in the first one, this one will focus on someone, and the third one will focus on someone else. And I was kind of convinced early on, like, oh, I'm seeing the story through different characters' eyes. But no, like you were saying, because it was just a cold opening, they really were just trying to give us like, we're trying to set up the stakes for this story so that all of it is heavier and makes sense later on, which I thought was really impressive, because it's
like
not
instead of doing that thing where you start off with Miles and then he gets to a point in the movie where
right.
Why is this happening, people? X person or Y? Well, this is what happened. Like, it's a nice little refresher that they did it backwards. And I find that by doing that, it created like you said, there was a lot more caring. There's a lot more there was more direction for where you were supposed to be in a mental space about where you were in the movie.
Yeah.
And what was really nice about it is like, I thought it was really, although yes, again, it was 20 minutes, like, considering what they put in that 20 minutes, it was a very succinct 20 minutes. Even though you had information overload, it was still very, it's weird. It's like you have information overload, but yet it's still very precise, the movie.
You know how I always say the Brits don't waste any scenes? Like, whenever I talk about British shows, I always feel like the Brits always find a way to use every single scene in every show that they make. And I feel like almost that Lord and Miller made this film very much in that kind of British mentality of like, every scene is there for a reason. Like, we're not just going to do stuff to a sorry American public, but one of the reasons that some of the scenes in American content is so wasteful is it's sometimes just a product placement. And that's why those scenes are there. Like, you'll look at a scene. There's one scene in the American version of this British conspiracy show that I watched. I can't remember the name of it right now. It was on Prime when they did the remake. I remember mentioning it at the time. But the reason that the two characters end up kissing in a hallway and kind of just having this really random, wasteful scene, when I watched it back, there's stuff in the background that I'm like, oh, I guess these were product placements. Like, they just stopped here so that you could see that. And I feel like Lord and Miller were like, listen, we're going to make this movie, and every single scene is going to feel like it was there for a reason. You're going to get to the end of the movie, and when you think back to all those scenes, you're going to be like, oh, that's why this was done this way. That's why this was done this way. And that's why this was done this way. And I feel like they really did it, man.
Well, I think they did. Honestly, I don't want to like overhype it or what have you, but in itself, it's a masterpiece. I find it's a very like it's. I didn't think that you'd be able to keep the same vibe as the first one, but yet like over deliver. And one thing I
feel like they went up. I feel like they went
up. They did. This is considering number one is an amazing movie, and you essentially Empire Strikes Back this, like, damn, like that's a big thing to say, right? Like it's a very big claim to make. And we're not, and we're saying this, and we're saying, and I think people hearing us, it's like we're telling you the truth, and we're not even spoiling it, and it's true. And one thing I will say, and I'll try not to, how can I word it? I really like how they really adhered to the multiverse and the concepts of the multiverse, and they didn't let any shackles in the presentation of that. Whether it be reference or image or whatever, like they did a great job showing a multiverse. They did an amazing job.
Actually, you know what? I'll let you say it like that. Yeah, I was gonna add to it, but you're right. The way you said it is perfect. Yeah. There's some stuff that they did artistically that it's going to blow your mind. There's the voice acting for everyone. That everyone brought their A game for the voice acting. I want to give a nod to Jason Schwartzman as Spot, because his voice work,
he did a good job.
His voice work is so good at the beginning and even better as it continues. Like I was in awe of how because Spot is a joke character usually, so for that character to feel as heavy and as interesting as he does throughout the film, fantastic. And who else was in it that I was like really excited to see? Andy Samberg as Ben Reilly with the like really emo Ben Reilly as an emo depressed spider clone.
I'm so happy that he was one of my favorite things in the I didn't want to say because I didn't want to be a spoiler, but if you're saying it, perfect, because it was probably in a commercial I didn't notice. But he was great because he's also one of my favorite designs of Spider-Man. If not like my favorite design of Spider-Man. So how he was and how, because the other thing is what's cool, they go through it. It's not one form of art that is done for all the characters. That's not much of a spoil, but like they adhere to different art for different, like they adhere to that type of stuff, and
each character has a different aesthetic.
Yeah, exactly. And his was just like phenomenal.
Yeah,
phenomenal.
Honestly, so we did our best to try and convince you of how great this film is without giving too much away. I would say that action-wise, solid. And then ratings. So it on Letterboxd, it is the highest rated superhero IP or superhero film to date now. On IMDb, it is one of the highest. It was higher, but it's dropped down since. It's at 9.1. And Rotten Tomatoes, it was certified fresh pretty early on, and it by critics and by audience score. So it's when you see stuff like that, you just know. And it's rare that audiences and critics tend to agree. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that, but I feel like
it's very rare.
Yeah, I find it very rare.
It's very
okay.
rare.
So it didn't make as much as I initially thought, but for an opening that they expected to make 80 to 100, it made 120 million on for its opening, which is still very, very good. It's a 2 hour and 20-minute film, which is, that extra time does lend to shorter, the less screenings you can do, which ultimately has over time, and it's something that I feel the theaters and the studios should probably try and figure out. I know everyone wants to tell a little bit longer of a story, but it's led to this thing where you can't make as much money, specifically because you can't even screen it as much. Right. There's just not enough time, because for every 3 screenings you lose an hour, because the film is 220 and the extra 20 minutes adds up to like that extra hour. So stuff like that, it's like if you try and screen it 6 times in a day, you've lost the equivalent of a full 7 screening you could have had it been trimmed a little bit. Something to consider. I know no one there is listening to me, but just my 2 cents. So on its release day, it made 51 million. On Saturday, it made 37. On Sunday, it made 31. On Monday, it did 13. But then on Tuesday, it was back up 15% and pulled in 15 million. This is with 4,313 theaters, averaging, on the opening day averaged 12,000 per theater, and by its last day was still averaging upwards of 3,000 per theater, which is these are some serious numbers, man.
It's a very, very, very well done movie.
Yeah,
the cliffhanger that is there, and like the worst part about the cliffhanger is that there's such a crazy expectation because of how it ends.
Yes.
You're like, you're like, okay, cool, yeah, like X dire thing, cool. And they're like, but there's this little shiny light, and you're like, what's the shiny light? And you're like, that's amazing. Now I want to watch more. Now it's over. Fuck you.
Yeah. I mean, hey, smart people. That's how you get people to want to come back, man. You give them a cliffhanger that makes them, and if anything, you get them attached to the story so much so that when you get to that cliffhanger, you want people to go, oh no, like you want that. I'll never forget watching Star Trek with the Borg when Picard gets kidnapped and becomes the cutest, and seeing that ending, and then seeing to be continue, and as a child going, no, like just like getting mad because I knew I knew it was a season finale, and I just knew I have to wait 2-3 months to see it, because it's like May and then starts back in September, so I have to just wait to find out what happens to Picard. What, like, so it's great when they do that, if you can do it well. And but yeah, I think one of the things that's really cool is it's difficult to make a film in a 3-act structure knowing that you're going to do a to be continued story. So the early part of the film, which I loved, and I'm not saying anything negative, felt long, and then made more sense when I got to the to be continued, because I was like, oh, so you're giving me a 3-act structure, but you did it in a way where it's like act 1, act 2, act 3, but the act 2 and 3 are kind of these weird things where you're setting up act 1 of another film at the same time.
Basically.
Yeah, and that to me is interesting because I'm like, oh, that's why act 1 felt like it could be a standalone story, and these 2 other acts need to be essentially the prequel to another movie, which, dude, shocking, but exceptionally well done.
I do have one blemish or
Right?
one spot about the movie,
Fuck you.
but
Oh.
but I really can't say it without I can't say it spoiler free. There's
okay, well.
one, I guess I could say this way. There's one inconsistency with how they were telling a story about an aspect of the story.
Okay.
That one, and the worst part is in my mind, I'm like, okay, I could try and overlook it, but then the same thing that gripe is happens to somebody else, and nothing happens, and I'm there, I'm like,
okay, yeah.
then why is this a problem?
Yeah.
So
if anything,
that's something that we could discuss maybe after the show, Brian.
Yeah, but if anything, make note of it so that when we talk about this later on, because we'll probably revisit this in a little bit, so we can do a proper like discussion where we kind of rant. If anything, maybe we'll do not Patreon, but we'll try and do something more prevalent. If you guys really want to know, you really want to know. But because there is stuff that we definitely like. I loved it, and I'm very interested in what the gripe is that you had, because I'm intrigued of what
it's more like whether you want to call it a gripe or like a head scratch. I was there, I'm like,
okay,
I don't believe this now. I don't believe
that's
this
fair.
now.
And
I love this whole movie. I don't believe this.
And it's funny because I have one too, where I like after the whole film, I was just like, this was fantastic. And then as I was like leaving, there was one thing that I was just like, but why did this happen? And I kept thinking, like, this one thing bothers me now when I think about it. So yeah, we'll both have to write down our things and come back to them. But yeah, guys, go check it out. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Also, if you want to check out, we did an interview with Patrick O'Keefe, who's the production designer on this film and was the art director on the previous film in 2018 when Into the Spider-Verse came out. So if you guys want to go check that out, that is up on our on Spotify right now. So if you go to our Spotify, but we're also going to upload it to YouTube after this episode, so you guys will be able to check it out on YouTube as well. It is a audio only podcast episode, but you can still watch it because there's going to be I made a visualizer for it, which I've never done before, but which was kind of fun. So you guys can see like the background. I don't know if you guys have seen it on Spotify, but like the background changes colors throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
And,
like active.
That was really fun. So,
active album covers.
Yeah, exactly. So I made something like that for the podcast, which was fun to do because I've never done that before. And I was just like, okay, how do I do this? And then just did it. And I was like, I'm not mad at how this looks. So you guys can check it out and tell me if it was good or if I need some more work. We got some geek news. And after such high highs, it's unfortunate to come in with this first, but I feel like we have to talk about it off the top and kind of just accept it is. We are sad to announce, and I'm sure the wrestling fans in the world already know, the Iron Sheik has passed at the age of 81. If for those of you who may not know who the Iron Sheik is, if you've watched any of the episodes of the Rock's TV show that he has,
Young Rock,
the actor playing the Iron Sheik on that does Young Rock. Sorry, thank you. The actor playing the Iron Sheik on that does such a great job of playing the Iron Sheik from what I remember in the 80s. And the Iron Sheik was just this great wrestler who, at the time when America was really dealing with their weird emotions about the Middle East, who they're now major allies with, but that's a whole other conversation. The Iron Sheik played this intense character.
He was always his well, I guess Angle. He was always like the foreign menace. So I think even before he became Mustafa, General Mustafa something, and he teamed up with Sergeant Slaughter, that was like more in the 90s with like Desert Gulf and all that stuff.
Right.
Like he was the Sheik before that. He was the Iron Sheik and all that kind of stuff. But so that was, and he was just a really cool, a really funny character. He's from that old generation of wrestlers of, you know, you got to keep the kayfabe, you got to keep it going, keep it going.
He kept it hard.
Keep it going hard. Like anyone's watching you that's not, you know, that's not up on it. No, I'm in character. I'm in character
all the time.
There's some crazy stories. I remember even Marty Jannetty, who was part of the Rockers with Shawn Michaels, had mentioned, he had said some, like they were doing a show at like some Jewish center, and he came out and he said some wild ass shit, and then like, you know, just to get the heat on him, and he goes back and he's like, hey, how was that? Was that good? But it's like, dude, why'd you say like but he was just like, I'm the bad guy, so I have to have everybody hate me. One of the big things for he was always a great personality, and the fact that WWE always brought him back. They always, like, you know, usually some people are like, you know, you're gonna keep you far. Like they always brought. Apparently, he was at the last WrestleMania behind the stage.
Oh, cool.
I think so.
Apparently, he was behind the stage, and like he was still like not involved, but like still like, yeah, come, you know. And he would always show up and stuff. And his big thing was always calls you a jabroni, so that's why he's on the Rock show. He's like, oh, you jabroni, and he's always like, oh, I'll take you and I humble you with the camel clutch. I humble you.
I love that. Actually, the Rock
on my knee with the backbreaker, then I humble you.
Well, the Rock credits him. He's like, the only reason why I use the term jabroni is because of the Iron Sheik.
Right.
He's like, everyone associates it with me because I made it more popular in the 90s because of what I did, but I didn't make the word. I didn't make it really popular. So
yeah, man. So RIP to the Iron Sheik. We condolences to his family and everyone. You know, to all you wrestling fans, if you have a chance, go look up an Iron Sheik match.
There's going to be a lot of like compiled videos and stuff like that. Sure. Like someone even put up something like 2 weeks ago. So it was so I was just like scrolling. I was like, oh, something is already there. But
right.
But yeah, like just a very interesting, like a very funny character. You find his interviews, and he's just always wild all the time. Always like, I'll take him and I'll humble him.
Love it.
Love him.
They just don't make him like they used to. What else do we have on the list this week? We already mentioned Monica Rambeau will be going by Photon in the Marvels. The TMNT Shredder's Revenge Dimensions Shell Shock DLC. So they're going to have a new downloadable content. Sorry, Dave, it looked like you were about to add.
I was going to say I was super excited for this.
Who are they adding? Because I
don't remember. I always butcher his name.
Usagi
Usaga or something.
It's Usagi. It's basically like bunny. I think it's bunny in Japanese. Usagi,
yeah, exactly. It's their it's one of their friends who's a rabbit who's also a ninja. So they're doing that.
He's a samurai.
Samurai, sorry.
Oh yeah. Okay, I was gonna say he looks like that.
No, yeah, because that was the contrast, right? Samurai versus samurai.
Yeah. Right. True.
So they're adding him, they're adding new levels, they're adding skins for all the characters, which is really cool.
Oh, cool.
In one of the in the commercial that I saw, you had the colors that they have now, the general color change that you used to have on Super Nintendo.
Promotional material?
No, they have the same color scheme as, because in the first time that you could change colors with the Turtles was technically Super NES's Turtles in Time. Okay. You could have like the colors that you have now, which is all the same color, and then the one where they have all the different, exactly, all the same skin tone, and then skin tones with like the different skin tones, and then it seems, at least it looked like they either showed the Michael Bay or potentially the new Ninja Turtles skins, like the new movie that's coming out now, because I saw Raphael, because they go through it really quick, and Raphael, you see, he has the like the bandana over his head. I'm like, and with the body structure that I saw, I'm like, that's either A, Michael Bay, or B, the new Turtles film.
Okay.
The
I
Seth
hope-
Rogen one that they're talking
Yeah,
about.
exactly.
Yeah, okay.
I hope that they do like one of the skins is like from the Archie comics where they go to the wrestling world, and then when they
Mm.
come back, Raph is just in the black, like whole bodysuit, and
Oh,
they're
the
like, Raph,
singlet?
aren't you gonna change? He's like, no, man, I'm feeling this. I'm look more like a ninja.
Like a wrestling singlet or
No, like he's just dressed all in black.
oh, cool. Okay.
So he looks
okay.
completely like blacked out, like he's an actual ninja. And so all the
Oh,
other guys
cool.
have like, weird, silly stuff, more samurai looking,
Right.
but like Raph kind of keeps it for
Oh,
like a
dope.
few
Okay.
episodes, for a few issues. I remember that.
And then sticking with video games, Toxic Crusaders official trailer dropped with a very similar aesthetic as the TMNT Shredder's Revenge. That kind of throwback to a 8-bit, but not actually 8-bit look.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
like 16. I guess 16.
Yeah, sorry,
bit
16.
even.
Sorry, yeah, 16 would be
16
the
kind of
What,
bit.
I wouldn't be surprised if that game is either the exact same style or a merger of that and the Scott Pilgrim game.
Okay.
It's done by the Ninja Turtles game is done by the same people that made Scott Pilgrim. And
Okay.
this
there
one,
you
I'm
go.
not sure. I think it's another group of people doing it, but they're probably going in that direction. And this is more there was a cartoon back in the day for Toxic Crusaders, even though the actual movie Toxic Crusader is not for children. It's a troll
Absolutely
movie.
Absolutely not. Absolutely
I remember
not.
the cartoon.
There's
and
nudity and there's all sorts of stuff.
yeah, I remember watching the cartoon as a kid and then thinking the movie was going to be for kids, and then watching the movie and being like, "What the is happening?"
The worst is that I've never even been able to really get through the other ones because there's, believe it or not, there's multiple live action films.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
There's
I
at
didn't know that.
least, I think there's the original one. There's a sequel that's like an official sequel of it.
Okay.
And then I think there's like another one, but it's like he's not in America anymore or something. Like
Oh
he's
boy.
somewhere else. Like he's traveling or doing like
Eastern Bloc where they
Yeah,
got
or
discounts on
something.
filming locations.
yeah. Oh man, so I'm checking this out while you guys
That's so
talk about it.
But yeah, so all that to say, video game, like Jaws mentioned, 16-bit aesthetic is coming through. It looks, if you guys want to check out the trailer again, more trailers for us to add into the description below. But check them out. It looks pretty cool. I like the visuals on it. Look really cool, and it really does look like the cartoon from when we were kids.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Yeah.
So just for the sake of argument there, just to say
Okay.
it, Toxic Avenger 1, 1984. Toxic Avenger 2, which is called Part 2, 1989. Toxic
Okay.
Avenger Part 3, The Last Temptation of Toxic, 1989 as well.
Wait, what? The
Yep.
third one came out the same year
The same year.
with the same actors? Like the same
I would
actor?
assume, I by chance am looking on
Truman worked
online.
quick.
Sorry, on Wikipedia, and apparently I didn't even know this. Apparently, there's a Toxic Avengers 4 that
Okay.
was 2000. I didn't even know that happened.
What?
I don't even like. I
I
swear,
don't remember that at all from 2000.
I am very curious right now. I'm very curious.
Well,
person.
shout outs to those people and let them bring it back to life. What else do we have? ChatGPT wrote a Black Mirror episode. It was shit, says the Black Mirror creator.
Are you surprised?
No, but it's just funny that he said, we let the ChatGPT write a Black Mirror episode. It was shite. Like that to me is just hilarious.
You know what? You know what I probably said? What happened in that episode? Everything went fine.
Yeah. Well, I read the article and he explained it, and it's similar to what everyone says about all these large language models. What it did was it took every Black Mirror episode it could find and merged all that together into a story and like structured something. And he said at first glance when he read it, he was just like, oh, this is plausible for a Black Mirror-esque episode. But then he said he reread it and was just like, oh no, this is shite. Like it's not good. Like, it has the elements because it's mimicking what it is the script, but it doesn't have the spirit or the kind of like the dark undertones. It kind of has like it's faking it till it makes it, but it can't make it because it's just a robot. So
Trash?
that was really interesting that when he said that.
Yeah, they're not there yet.
No, not at all. But the new season is coming soon. So if people want to check out The trailer for that is also out. That one we're probably not going to add to the list because we've talked about it before. But if you guys are looking for some fun entertainment stuff, and if you miss Black Mirror, because I know a lot of people have been missing it, this is going to be the first season.
Why we're living it? I don't understand.
Yeah, I know.
Why are you missing something when you're living it?
But Bandersnatch was the last one we got, which was the Choose Your Own Adventure, which was a first of its kind and was kind of cool. I mean, I tried it, but it ultimately wasn't the most entertaining thing because there's very few versions where you actually make it to the end. There's some funny ones though. There was one where like when you play it, that the character realizes this is a TV show and then gets attacked, and like everything starts going crazy, like cars driving through walls, and it's a set and it's a TV set and all that wild stuff. So they really did some kind of funny, interesting stuff with some of them. And then I think the last piece of news we have on the list this week, and I saved the weirdest for last. Apple Vision Pro.
Yeah.
35,000 to 45,000 VR AR glasses.
Black Mirror episode.
Yes, essentially.
It's AI Black Mirror real. That's what that is.
I'm going to pull up the image of it because if people haven't seen it yet, I don't even know what to tell you. It's Apple Vision Pro. So I want to find the one with the creepy eyes because Jaws and I kept having this discussion in the group chat about it has these creepy as eyes, and Jaws was just like, I mean, it's not creepy. It's humans like to see eyes, and I was like, yeah, but the thing that freaks me out is the eyes on this thing aren't your actual eyes. It's an image of your eyes projected on a screen. And that shit made me uncomfortable when I realized. I was like,
again, I doubt we are going to see these things in the wild.
I know.
Highly doubt it.
Yeah.
Do you think people would actually bring that around outside and stuff?
Oh, they getting jumped.
That's what I was
this
say.
Is like iPad, like iPhones, like maybe 1 and 2 and 3 when it first came out, and then smartphones didn't get as good as them, and people were getting jumped for them. I think what's gonna happen, and same with Beats. People were just snatching headphones back in the day. I feel like
I just find
some idiot's gonna walk around with, I can walk around because I can, and it's just.
but I don't know.
Crazy.
I find it a bad idea. I think there's a certain degree of too far. I think we've gotten there. I don't know.
Yeah, we have. Even me who likes this stuff is like, guys, who are you making this for? Like, what?
Yeah, like the masses can't really afford it, and to try to get companies to switch over to this thing while we're in a kind of recession,
right?
Everyone's trying to tighten their purse strings. No one's dropping that kind of money just
think
to do
about that aspect. That's a valid point.
Well, yeah, but like, dude, who's gonna buy this?
So, and that's the girl from Blackish, right?
I don't think so. I think it's just a random person. No, I don't think it's.
She looks so much like the girl from Blackish.
I think it's just.
This is gonna be for like super nerd. Like this is the start of this is how WALL-E happened.
Okay, well, first things first. I will say this. The idea of glasses that project a large screen is appealing to me. But I've been paying attention to this brand called Robix that has a $439 pair of glasses that does this, where it projects like a 250. I'll try and find an image of that. But they have these glasses that you can wear, and it projects a screen onto your face. And I love that idea. Not it projects a screen onto your face, but it projects a screen in front of you in like an AR reality type thing. And I really like that. And it was funny because I brought it up to my dad the other day, and my dad and I were both like, "Oh, I've actually been paying attention to this." Like my dad said, "Oh, yeah. I don't know if you've seen this thing where they have like you get a 215-inch screen through a pair of glasses." I was like, "Robix," and he's just like, "Oh, we're both paying attention." Him and I started laughing. Him and I started laughing.
My son.
Yeah. Like we were. Hold on, I'm trying. God, I can't remember the name. AR glasses, Robit, Rokid Max. There we go. That's it. So they're called Rokid Max, and they're AR glasses that you wear, and it projects this large screen in front of you. I'm gonna try and find like a basic image of it, like one that doesn't look weird. I'm trying to find one where it doesn't look weird, guys, because I know you're gonna make fun of me when I show you the image, so I'm trying to find the least.
Too late. Now you just got to show it.
I know. God, this is gonna be so stupid.
Come on, don't be shy now.
Here you go, folks. So if you guys are listening to this,
Oh Jesus, Brian! Like,
oh, hold on,
it's not even about making it easy. It's like you don't even have to say anything. Guy looks so cracked out. Who's using these?
So these glasses that like, so if you guys are listening to this, it looks like a pair of sunglasses, but the glasses are angled maybe like 15 degrees down because there's like micro OLED screens inside that project, and it creates a large screen about 6 feet in front of you with AR. And I guys, I fucking love the idea. I'm not going to lie to you. The second I saw this, I was just like, okay, $439 now. I'm going to wait till you do Generation 2, see if the price kind of plays around. Generation 3, and if by Generation 3 this is like a legit thing, maybe I know it sounds crazy, but maybe I'll buy a pair. Now, I know y'all going to judge me.
I'm not going to judge you. I will be one of the first people to come to your house to ask to try it.
Oh, okay.
I think there's also
it looks stupid. I won't pay for it, but if you have it, I'll definitely try it.
Yeah,
there's also something called X-Reel. It used to be called N-Reel, and then they changed their name to X-Reel.
Oh, interesting.
That's something I saw.
And it's the same thing?
Roughly the same thing. Yeah, you put the glasses on and it has the AR. You can watch YouTube and all that kind of stuff.
Right. So, I mean, these Apple ones, they showed us in the, if you watch, what's his name? The black dude from Canada who does all these reviews. MBKH.
He's not from Canada. He's from Jersey.
Oh, my bad. I thought he was Canadian.
He's from Jersey.
Oh no, other dudes from Canada. The guy that does the unboxing videos, with the shaved head, white guy.
Skinny?
No, yeah. Happy birthday, by the way.
Until you got to the last descriptor. I mean, that
yeah. I was like, black dude. Oh yeah.
I thought we were playing. What's that game that you ask so many? You get so many facts and then you have to guess the answer. Never mind.
Oh.
It'll come to me later.
All right. I opened up his video and that's what started playing. Marquise
Brownlee.
Yeah. But it's just because his channel is always, and I always forget the letters. MKBHD. That's what it is. Yeah.
It's funny. Some people thought the K in his channel's name was Kumar, and it's just Marquez. Like K.
Right.
That's what I'm assuming.
I figure as much too. But yeah, so I mean, these glasses. So the weirdest part of the video, and I'm gonna try and I think, can I switch over to this video? The weirdest.
Oh, right. So the name of this thing, not the name of the actual product, but the name of the view where you get to see your eyes is called Eyesight.
Right.
So I was like, oh, I thought they're gonna put the letter I and then sight,
like they've always done.
But it seems like they're kind of like leaning away from that and not doing the whole iPhone, iMac, they're like, okay, the internet's here, no one cares anymore.
Yeah.
Let's spell I properly, EYE.
So here we go. I'll put this in. So let's switch to this tab. So this is the video of what it looks like when you're wearing the AR goggles. So this is from the perspective of someone who has the goggles on. They're in the real world. You can now see your different windows in front of you. And then he was explaining in the video how you use your fingers, and once your fingers touch, that it you can open things, close things, and so on and so forth. And he was saying that it's so sensitive that at one point he didn't even mean to have his fingers touch. Actually, I think he's saying it now.
Yeah, it's through the Safari window. Literally, the air would touch my fingers together.
And it was scrolling in real time.
In real time, I would throw it around, toss it, catch it, toss it the other way, and start.
You guys can hear that?
With my finger.
Yeah.
Windows, dragging the corners of things. And I was super impressed with that too. Now, if you're like me, you might have also had some questions about the sharpness. Like, do I really want to wear something like this for a long time to work like it's on a computer.
So one of the other things that he mentions is that the battery life on this thing is 2 hours. The battery itself doesn't go into the AR headset. It's
That's good.
Actually, it's connected and it's something you carry on the side.
So yeah, so if you see the headset here and you see the wire, that wire is going to the battery pack.
Right. So you keep it in like your pocket and stuff like that. He was also mentioning that the weight of the he was mentioning the weight is another factor that he thinks might have some people being a little concerned because it does get a little heavy to wear one of these all the time.
Well,
you know,
you
they
mess
have a whole
around with your neck.
Yeah, right. Like these are all things that we do have to take into consideration with this new tech that they're introducing, because we haven't figured out how to make all this stuff smaller yet. So until we do, some of that stuff is going to be hella heavy on our heads, because we're still, it's like old-fashioned computers, right? Like, do you guys remember the first laptops? Those big clunky machines? Like,
Yeah,
I thought
they
you
were
said
heavy.
The
it's
first
crazy.
cell phone, the brick.
Oh my god, yeah, the bricks, the huge bricks from the 80s. Hey, Skinny, you jumped in for the last 5 minutes.
You know how I do. You know, family's over. Wanted to say hi.
Happy birthday.
Also, you
Thank you.
also you can plug this thing, like you can actually plug it into a USB-C.
We're making fun of these.
A USB-C adapter and plug it in and plug it into the wall directly, so you can get infinite power, but then you're kind of just stationary.
Yeah, but then you have no mobility. Yeah, you're stuck.
Yeah, but I mean, like
that
it's
sounds
weird.
so unfortunate to me.
So this is like a new phone thing?
No, dude, this is the future. This is
the
the
new thing
things that we
Apple made, and
all don't
it's
want.
AR goggles.
It's the new thing that Apple
Yeah, it's
showed
AR
off.
goggles from Apple.
They
Yeah, I
showed
don't
it
know.
off, and you know what happened? Their stock went down. Everyone's like,
shit,
nope.
the stock dropped?
Yeah, dude, this doesn't sound like a good idea. Like some of the things we're naming are like example, the whole weight of it is actual lawsuit problems. Like I hope you guys realize that. Like people, like there's gonna be some idiot out there who's gonna wear it long enough, his neck's gonna go
Yeah,
like
they're gonna have neck
this or
pump.
whatever,
Yeah,
and then
but-
he's gonna be like money.
Dave,
now.
that's
A lot of
so
it.
easy. All I have to do is put in a disclaimer that says, do not wear this more than X
Dude,
hours. And if you wear it more
course.
than, if you try and go to court with them and say, well, I wore it for, how many hours did you wear it for, sir? I wore it for 6 hours. Did you read the
Lies.
instructions that say do not wear it more than 2 hours at a time?
All
every
Apple would
day,
have to
dude.
do is just look at it, look at the uptime, how long it was above a certain height, because it's got
It sure has to have that
gyroscopics in
measurement.
there and
Stuff,
everything.
yeah.
They could probably figure out like, nah, you're lying,
But
or
even
you're
if someone wears
wearing
that
it
every
longer.
day,
And here we have logs of when we said don't wear it, like, hey, take it off. Hey, take it off. Hey, rest your
Yeah.
neck. Hey, they used to do that for the game, the Virtual Boy. Remember the stupid Virtual Boy?
yeah.
You could put in a setting where it says, let me know when to take my eyes off. Hey, and it'll be a big warning that comes up and say, hey, you should give your eyes a rest. So we'll pause the game for you. And then you take your eyes out of there. You're like, oh, it's so dark.
You can't
my
see.
eyes. It's so bright.
No, I can't do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think Apple's going to get sued by anybody because they're definitely going to warn people in advance. But I do agree with you that it is ridiculous to have something that heavy, and then you took your time to be like, we don't want the battery pack attached to it because it would be too heavy. So we're going to make it an extra cord, knowing already that the goggles are so heavy that we don't want to add weight to it, but we're still going to give you all this extra stuff. By the way, you can plug it into a wall and have an electric device attached to your head and eyes that's plugged into a wall outlet. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want anything plugged into an outlet attached to my face. I'm just saying that's dangerous. That's not how that. If you're telling me I need a surge protector for my computer, I need a surge protector for this, a surge protector for that, but then you're going to tell me to
Insane.
pop on a pair of $3,500 computer, essentially a computer goggle, and plug that into an outlet, and then not need a surge protector? Get
But
out of here.
imagine a person who's doing something, playing like a game or something, and they're drinking, and something happens that makes them scared, and then they splash it on
Billy
themselves.
drinkers are going to be
And then-
dead drinkers.
Yeah,
All I have to
exactly.
All I have to say is Jack me an operator. Doodly!
I mean, that was a strong finish. That was, that's almost as good as Come to Death Row. Like,
But yeah, man. So that's the Apple Vision Pro. Skinny, how you doing, man? Celebrating?
Happy birthday.
Enjoying?
celebrating. Today was a day, but it got better in the tail end, and that's what being an adult and being older birthdays is all about.
It's a
Did you
dad
take the
birthday.
day off from work?
I had a half day that turned
Okay.
into a 3/4 of a day because of me working and just of my own ability. So there's that. That was cool. Things that were all right. Package came in from UPS. That was finally, waited a month for it.
Mhm.
This is the second version, so these came in cool. The sender messed up like the invoice or the commercial invoice, and like it reloaded on the page, but then it didn't. So, anyways, it ended up printing. Stupid at UPS. They ended up putting the same amount twice, so it's like the same item. It's like toy signs, and then it was like toy signage, and then the value of like 154. But then UPS is like, oh no, 14 items, cool. It's like, dog, it's one package. 14 items, cool.
Oh.
They rounded up and then charged me customs on that. 81.53 later.
Oh.
On top of me already paying 180 Canadian for these.
Ugh.
Yeah. I'm like this close to being just like on like some, hey man, thanks for sending it, and then going back to PayPal and being like infraction and just getting my money back because like no man, like I went on a live on IG about it, and I was just like, the first time we did this a month ago, I sent you the money. Tuesday, you're like, I'll send you tracking soon. Friday, I realized, hey, I didn't hear nothing. I hit you up Friday, like, bro, let me get that tracking. All day, I didn't hear nothing. Let me get that tracking. Finally, 11:30, man's is like, yo, here's the tracking. My wife sent out the package today. I checked the tracking. It says 11:36 label was created. I'm like, nigga.
Yeah. I know the difference.
Why? Bro. Bro.
Why? I could look it up.
Yeah,
It's the internet now.
I'm
Why?
asking for the tracking because I'm going to look it up.
Dog.
Yeah.
Like,
So not only does it only say label created and doesn't change, he's like, I brought it to USPS. And I was like, so? It says UPS. He's like, no. I'm like, yeah, you sent it UPS, not USPS. So this is a UPS tracking number. Anyways, he's like, yeah, I'll file a claim. Claim filed. Never hear from that package. I'm like, all right, run it again, bro. Let's go.
Yeah.
I need this by the 7th. Let's run this up. And here we are. I get the 7 signs that I haven't looked. I got to do a whole what's in the box on it. Am I going to tear this guy's ass out? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Oh yeah. All week I went live and I wasn't, mentioning names. But today, child. Tune in later, folks.
There you go.
Tune in
Guys,
later.
that's the whole show. I think the one last thing I had was
Nerd
I
Talk
haven't been
Saturday.
paying too much. Yeah. We're going to be going out to Foofs, and you guys can definitely come check it out. Nerd
You
Stock.
and me, we're doing that, right? Me and you, Brian. That's it. That's the roll.
I-
We roll. Yeah.
I'm going. I'm definitely going. I plan to wear my vest again. Dave, are you coming through? You said you were going to try, right?
it's gonna be kind of like a day of determination.
That's fair. And Jaws, hopefully you can come through.
Yeah, I'll talk to you guys after the show about it.
Well. Yeah, the last thing I was going to mention is pay attention to what's happening with Twitch. They changed a whole bunch of their rules, so if you guys are streamers, you might want to check out what the new rules are for advertising. You're not allowed to have like advertisements burnt into your streams or on screen during your live streams now. You are allowed to do product placements in the background and stuff, but there's a whole bunch of new regulations, so just keep an eye out on stuff like that if you guys are streamers. Like, I
Cool.
guess we are, because we are on Twitch right now.
Which, yes,
So,
we are.
yeah.
Yes.
We got to pay attention to those rules. Once again, shout outs to Nerdstock. Speaking of ads. So yeah, nerdstockfest.com. That's the whole show. Again, happy birthday, Skinny. Do you want to tell people how old you turned? Or
38.
There
I
you
look
go.
28. Suckers.
I mean, that is, you know the rules.
yeah, I know.
Don't crack. So you're going to be
Yeah.
looking like this for at least another 10 years.
Let's go.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Egbert.
Yes,
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Oh,
Egbert. I was
true.
just going to say, Egbert Gay,
Yeah.
who is a figure in the Black community here in Montreal.
Turns
And,
out he drove me places when I was a kid. My mom knows him. And like,
Oh, yeah.
Everybody knows them.
Right? Yeah. So like, R.I.P. dudes.
That's
Chances are we're
R.I.P.
doing the show slightly inspired by you. So yeah, community
Yeah.
contact and all that.
peace, guys. We out.
Peace.
Bye.
Get up.